Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. We are back again with another one. Yeah, that's right. In the news, Africa Bambaataa pretty much loses civil case suing him for child sexual abuse. Now, what does this mean for Hassan Campbell? It means that he's been vindicated. It means that he was telling the truth. That's what it means. Because why would Bambaataa not show up to court? Because he's guilty. And what that does, it clears Hassan's name. And now a lot of people have to admit that they owe the man an apology, including myself. I roasted him. I cracked a lot of jokes. I had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that he ain't say some stuff that was questionable, but he been vindicated. He been cleared. And those of you that are in these YouTube streets that are, I guess, still playing this little game, it's over now. I hear a couple of people making videos. They saying, well, Hassan had nothing to do with the John Doe that the case was about. Actually, Hassan have more to do with this situation than you guys think, because he was bringing awareness to this situation for years. And nobody believed him. And now, I mean, you know how I do, guys. I cannot lie. It is what it is. The man been vindicated. And we got to talk about the story. You got people saying that he has no responsibility in Bambaataa being found guilty and exposed, but he does, because he was sounding the alarm throughout these YouTube streets for a long time. And we cracked jokes, don't get it wrong. It was very entertaining, you know. He said some things that was questionable, and I believe that if he really admitted, he did say some things at times was questionable. But at the same time, what we got to really talk about right now, guys, is why in the Black community, when men are abused, we make jokes. We got to talk about that. I mean, I made jokes, so I'm guilty too. But I can stand in front of you, the people, and be clean. And I can share my thoughts about it. I crack jokes, be entertaining at times, especially when people say goofy things. Yeah, we talk. This is, it's entertaining. It's YouTube. It is what it is. But at the same time, let's be serious, right? Hassan brought his story to social media. He talked about it. People laughed, people made jokes. But now, who's getting the last laugh? Because now, Bambaataa was found to have lost his case by not showing up to court. If he's not showing up, he's guilty. He was found guilty. I'm going to read the article. I just wanted to talk a little bit before we get into the stream. A lot of content creators got a make a video about this. You got to make a video about this, man. Some of you guys, man, you're too proud. You're too proud and arrogant, man. And it's like you can't come clean in front of the public. I could stand clean in front of my audience and be like, you know, the man was right. The man was right the whole time. And it's something we got to talk about, because even though we cracked jokes, even though we laughed, we had some entertaining times, we roast Hassan Campbell. He crashed out at the projects. A lot of that stuff, a lot of us don't understand when you're dealing with the trauma that someone actually have, that been through things that a lot of us haven't been through. And I think that in the Black community, one of the things we as men fail to talk about is men that have been abused. We laugh at it. We really do. We laugh, we joke. Just today, I was showing you a clip from Ha Ha Davis, where he was doing a skit in prison. And it's funny, but we really make jokes out of men getting violated like that's some sort of comedy act. It's not. And when Hassan put his story out there, it's not that nobody didn't believe him. It's just that that's just how it is in the Black community. And this is why a lot of Black men never talk about these traumas and these issues they've been through. They don't even talk about it. They just hide in the shadows and suffer in silence, and just, you wondering why these dudes be crashing out. You wondering why a lot of kids be acting up in school, why a lot of dudes resort to violence. A lot of it is internalized pain. And based on all the things that Hassan talked about in Bronx River, this was true. Which means Bambaataa was really out there violating these kids. He was really out there doing this, y'all. The founding fathers in hip hop. And Bambaataa was protected by the industry, protected by various rappers for what he been doing. You know? And of course, again, guys, yeah, Hassan said a lot of things that raise eyebrows, but that's Hassan Campbell. We're not here to focus on the past. Like, if you notice, I don't even make videos about the man. I leave him alone, right? He's doing his thing. I stay out of the way. We did what we did, but now I have to do this video because why? The news is out. Bambaataa was found guilty, which should bring some sense of closure to Hassan, because it vindicates him. So now on these social media streets, everybody got to rectify and fix and what's that word? Retract their statements. Y'all gotta clean up all the mess y'all done did, because his name is cleared now. You can't say, oh, you lying, man. You just trying to take down a Black man. No, that man was found guilty. It's clear. He was found guilty. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, wow. What do you say now? Can't really say anything. It says hip hop pioneer Afrika Bambaataa loses civil case suing him for child sexual abuse. The plaintiff, who alleged that Bambaataa sexually abused and trafficked him when he was 12, was granted a default judgment after the DJ failed to show up in court. Now, when you fail to show up to court, you're guilty. There's no other way around it. You can't tell me, well, I forgot. No, this is a real serious case. This is your reputation. This is everything is on the line. All of social media is watching. We busy talking about Diddy, the founding fathers of hip hop pioneers, found guilty, loses his civil case. That's headline news. That's bigger than Diddy. This should be plastered all over the place. But it's like, it's quiet. Y'all don't notice that? This is supposed to be major mainstream headline news, but it's not. And there's a reason why. A lot of hip hop artists are paid to keep this thing on the hush. That mean that Bambaataa know that he was molesting the particular person that was suing the 12-year-old at that time. He was molesting him and other kids at the projects. He was doing it, guys. He was doing it, man. And it just goes to show, sometimes we hear stories, we laugh, we play games, and it's only like that with black men. For some reason in the black community, we don't believe these type of stories and we make fun of it, but really there's real victims out there. There are real men that have been violated sexually. And we joke about this, and we shouldn't joke about it. We really shouldn't be joking about these things, man. I don't know what it is with black men, primarily black men. We the ones that do this. And then what we do is we shame the victims. We shame the victims who were abused as if though it was their fault. Now, of course, Hassan is a grown man now. He got a family. He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when he was younger, he couldn't overpower a lot of the things that was happening. Some of y'all might say, man, he made choices, man. He did what it. Fam, if that was your daughter, you gonna say that about your daughter? This is what I mean, man. We gotta straighten up. We gotta fix this situation here, man, because for a long time, the man been talking about this issue. And a lot of you content creators been eating off that story, including myself. I made videos. You know what I mean? I was throwing him under the bus. I was calling him all sorts of things. I was roasting him. But I gotta say, guys, Hassan Campbell was right. He was right the whole time. He said some questionable things, but that's neither here nor there. That's old news. The man has been vindicated. Now, we don't see his name plastered on this article. This is my first time actually reading this article, but it talks about somebody. What's the person's name? Where that name at? I'll get to it in a minute. I'll get to it in a minute. But what's going around on social media right now is people are making videos saying, why is Hassan Campbell taking credit? Or why is he doing this? And he don't have nothing to do with the fact that he was found guilty. Regardless of what the situation is, you cannot say that that man wasn't a voice talking about Afrika Bambaataa all these years. That man been on the front line. Matter of fact, I haven't even heard from the John Doe. I don't even know who the hell that is, to be honest with you. Respectfully, I don't know who he is. I heard more from Hassan Campbell regarding Afrika Bambaataa. I don't recall hearing nobody else speak more about him. I was to the point where I thought Hassan was obsessed with this guy. Like, what the hell you keep talking about this man all damn day? But now you realize why. I mean, when you realize that somebody had that much power to be abusing all of these kids all these years, and ain't no telling how many more victims there are that hasn't come forward yet because of shame. Hassan came forward. Now think about this, guys. You have to think about this. Let's put this thing into perspective here for a minute. What black man comes on social media and say, yeah, I was touched by a man? Let's just be real. What black man would come on social media and say that? You know that comes with a penalty. You know that comes with a price. You know that comes with people ridiculing you, laughing. In the black community, they make fun of that stuff. So if Hassan came into public and said, look, guys, these are my cards. This is what happened. This man been on various platforms, major platforms with heavy hitters, and he shared his story. You don't just share those kind of stories if there's no truth to it. I mean, I don't understand why would a man come online and say something like that and it not be true. That's just sick. You ain't gonna put yourself in a vulnerable position like that. So now it all makes sense, because for Bambaataa not to attend or show up in court, that man is guilty. That means he was doing these things. That's crazy, man. Now, what is hip hop gonna say about that? What is KRS-One gonna say? What is all of the major platforms that had things to say? What are y'all going to say now? Everybody owe Hassan an apology, or at least a video to acknowledge the fact that the man been vindicated. You got to swallow your pride and do what you got to do, guys, at this point. That's why I'm doing this particular video here, because, you know, I'm not a hypocrite. If a man been vindicated, if a man been cleared, if a man has been proven to have been telling the truth, then there's no joking matter right now. Right now, it's really serious. That means that the stories that Hassan been putting out, like, yo, man, he did this, and when we were over here in the room, those stories is true. Those stories are true stories. And the industry been trying to cover up them stories for a long time. And now that the truth is out, it's clear. Let me see what's going on. Okay. All right. How everybody doing out there? Make sure you hit the like button too one time. Let me get back to the article. So it says that the plaintiff, who alleged that Bambaataa sexually abused and trafficked him when he was 12, was granted a default judgment after the DJ failed to show up in court. It says hip-hop pioneer Afrika Bambaataa has lost his civil case suing him for sexual abuse and trafficking after he failed to show up in court. In 2021, the anonymous plaintiff alleged that the DJ and producer sexually abused and trafficked him for 4 years, beginning in 1991, when he was 12, and Afrika Bambaataa, 33 or 34 years old. So if you really think about this, Bambaataa was in his 30s and he was molesting a 12-year-old boy. This type of stuff had to be happening to many kids back then. Many young men in the projects in the hood was getting violated under the table, and nobody would say anything because back then there was a lot of weirdo stuff going on, and you would have never thought that that would be happening with Bambaataa. The last thing you would think. So it says Bambaataa, born Lance Tyler, has never responded to these specific allegations, Rolling Stone reports. The Guardian has contacted representatives for Bambaataa for comment. Judge Alexandra M. Tisch granted the plaintiff a default judgment without opposition in New York's state's Supreme Court. Bambaataa has faced numerous allegations of molesting boys. Now notice, numerous allegations. Some of these allegations we heard from Hassan Campbell for years. He had the loudest microphone talking about the situation and the severity of the situation. He brought a lot of awareness to it. Matter of fact, Hassan Campbell was doing the work that a lot of black men should have been doing, but he was the only one doing it. So from the outside looking in, it was made fun of. Oh, you're just trying to get up. You're just trying to get over. You're just trying to hustle somebody. You're trying to. Nah, he was telling the truth, y'all. He was telling the truth the whole time, man. The whole time he was telling the truth. And that's why I'm trying to correct the wrong the best way that I could to bring closure to that situation. Bambaataa is guilty, man. He was a predator the whole time, guys. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was really doing these things to these kids. He was really messing with these boys, man. He was really messing with these boys. And now what this is going to do, it's not over yet. It's going to open up another door. You know, the door, it's going to open up another door, because now that he was found to lose his civil case, others are going to come forward now. What is he going to say? Oh, I forgot to go to court. No, you don't forget stuff like this, man. When it's time to go to court, when the bill collector come, the creditor, the landlord for their rent, you don't forget those things. None of us forget when we got to pay them rent, them bills. Something about them bills, it reminds you of your due date. We don't play with that. When it comes to getting your paperwork and everything situated, you make sure that paperwork is done. So when you have something as serious as this, you ain't gonna just let a case just fall apart and cripple your name. You know? So let's see what we got. Okay. Bambaataa has faced numerous allegations of molesting boys. It says in 2016, the Democratic Party activist and former music industry executive Ronald Savage, so that's the name of the person, Ronald Savage, alleged that Bambaataa had repeatedly abused him in the 1980s when he was 15. So that's somebody else that wait, I'm confused. I guess there's different people, guys. Let's just continue reading. So it says Ronald Savage alleged that Bambaataa had repeatedly abused him in 1980 when he was 15 and Bambaataa was 23. In 2024, he recanted his allegations, saying that he met Bambaataa at a club he had used a fake ID to enter. Bambaataa is not a pedophile. This is a quote, Bambaataa is not a pedophile. And in my eyes, he was doing something that was consensual with someone that he thought was of age. So whoa. Wait a minute. Did y'all get that? Bambaataa is not a pedophile. And in my eyes, he was doing something that was consensual with someone that he thought was of age. See, I'm not buying that, fam. I'm not buying that. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew that the person was not of age. He knew what he was doing because the person tried to recant their statements. But what this also confirmed is that Bambaataa was most likely being intimate with a man. You see how that go? You see that? Let me see if I can pull up this because I don't even know who that person is. So let me do some more research on this, guys. I don't like reading stuff and I don't know who we talking about. Let me see. Ronald Savage. Okay. I think I seen this guy in a video before. Let me see if I could get this picture up on the screen. Ronald Savage. Okay. So this is the guy. All right. Let me see. Let me choose a picture. I don't want to choose a weirdo picture where a person just look crazy. You know, sometimes people do that. They just pick up a picture and they pick up a bad picture making you look weird. So let me find a decent picture. Now, see, if I wanted to make this into comedy, I would have picked up this picture here, but I'm not going to pick up that one. That one look weird. But let me see. I don't got a lot of pictures to choose from. Wait a minute, is that him with? This is weird. I don't even know if that's a real picture with Ronald Savage and Bambaataa together. I don't know if this. I don't know if this is AI. I don't know if this is Photoshop. I don't know, but I'll use this picture. I'll use that picture. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see if this. I don't know if this is a legit picture, because you know how they be doing these pictures, but this is supposed to be the guy. And that would be Bambaataa. I don't know if this picture is legit. Does this picture look like it's legit? I don't know. I don't know if this is a legit photo, guys. I don't know. Maybe it is, right? Because he would be up there in his age too. That's a real picture? You said that's a real picture. Ronald is a clown. Okay. All right. So they're saying it's a real picture, right? So I just wanted to make sure so that we know who we talking about. Let me put that right here. All right. So let me get back to the article, find out more information about this. Then we'll continue back on with the content. So it says, let me see where we at. Okay. It says in 2016, the Democratic Party activist and former music industry executive Ronald Savage alleged that Bambaataa had repeatedly abused him in 1980 when he was 15 and Bambaataa 23. In 2024, he recanted his allegations. See, you don't get to no. If you accuse this man of doing these things and then you recant your statements, that means somebody was pressing you. That means somebody pulled up and they pressed you, put the fear of the devil in you, probably threatened your life, and you went up there and pulled a Raz B. The same way they made Raz B. Y'all remember Raz B? When what's that dude, man? The producer that was busting them open. Something Stokes, something Stokes or Strokes, something like that. Whatever the name is. He was stroking Raz B, and then he put the fear of the devil in him and made him retract his statements on the abuse. Remember when Raz B got up and he was like, yo, everybody's passing me around in the industry. They all busting me open. Y'all remember that? And it was all over social media. Chris Stokes. Yeah. Chris Stokes, the producer guy, was abusing Raz B. And he turned him out in the industry. Raz B took it to social media and was talking about it, bringing awareness to it. Now, guys, think about this, guys. If you really think about it, when Raz B was coming on social media to talk about the abuse with Chris Stokes, y'all don't see the similarities between Hassan Campbell and Raz B in terms of the fact that they came to social media to talk about the story and they were laughed at and mocked. Y'all don't see the same similarities? Because people were laughing at Raz B. And then they were mocking him and they was like, yo, why you lying? And then when he came back online and said, oh, no, it never really happened. I was like, bro, you just accused this man. How you going to say he didn't do it now? Because somebody pressed him. But now in Hassan's case, Hassan never came back online saying, yo, this never really happened. He stuck with what he claimed. He never took back his words. So somebody made Ronald Savage take back his words the way they made Raz B. You know, do what he had to do. Somebody said Hassan Campbell is lying. How? Somebody said Hassan Campbell was a willing participant. We can't really say that because they were young. And again, I made my videos. I talked about this. I said some of the similar things that you said. So I'm not even going to roast you. You have a right to your opinion. I said some of the similar things that you said. At the same time, moving forward with all the evidence and all the information that's out right now, we just can't keep saying everybody's a willing participant. You know? We just can't keep saying that over and over. You see what I'm saying? We got to be real. And what's going on to everybody that's coming in the building? Salute to everybody coming in. Appreciate everybody stopping by. What we're talking about is Afrika Bambaataa was He lost his civil case after being sued for sexually abusing someone at the age of 12. And a lot of people on social media is trying to clown Hassan Campbell still after all this time. Even though he's been vindicated, they still trying to clown him. And I think that what they're doing is they're just trying to clout chase off of his name to further push the nonsense again. It's too late now. It's over. Once Bambaataa been found to lose his case, Hassan already been vindicated, which means everything that he been saying over the years is true. So we can't continue to play these little games no more. It's a serious issue. And unfortunately, in the Black community, we don't take these matters serious when it involves men being abused. We're not talking about when Hassan was 12. We're not talking about that. See, if you pay attention in class, you would know what we're talking about. We're talking about the person that's in the article. You know, the John Doe that was suing Africa Bambaataa. That person said when they were 12, X, Y, and Z happened in the 90s. We never said Hassan Campbell, right? Hassan already done shared his story on numerous platforms already, right? No matter what the age is, it's the past. Bambaataa is guilty, which means he was in fact a predator. What are we to do? Keep kicking a man when he's down? Beating a man up? Keep talking about the same thing over and over and over? It's a dead horse. How much times are you going to keep beating a dead horse? It's dead. Right? So we got to move on from that. So, according to this article, Ronald Savage recanted their statements by saying Bambaataa is not a pedophile. And in his eyes, he was doing something that was consensual with someone that he thought was of age. Well, what this confirms is that Bambaataa was with a man. So why the hip hop industry ain't talking about it? Even if he recanted his statement, it still confirmed that he was with someone that was 15, right or wrong, in whom he thought was of age. Let's just call it what it is, right? Which means that Bambaataa like boys. And the industry was trying to protect Bambaataa all these years. You know? Somebody said Hassan didn't get violated. Listen, man, you guys got to be adults when we trying to have these adult conversations, man. Like, for real. It's like it's old news, man. I don't have no interest in playing these little games right now. All the old videos we did, that's old news. I don't got time to talk about that stuff. What we got to focus on is what's real right now. What's real right now is, if this was happening back then to Hassan Campbell and various other young men, how many young men today this is happening to? How many young inspiring rappers are being molested right now? And nobody's talking about it, and nobody knows. And these young men are in the shadows, traumatized, scared, fearful for their life, drugged, various other things in order to keep a certain level of success and a certain lifestyle. And they're protecting these predators that are actually out here doing these things. Think about this. If this was happening to them back then, what's happening right now? So all this time when Hassan was speaking on these issues and you saw him crashing out, whether getting emotional, crying on a live, shedding tears, whatever the case is, that was real. That was real trauma. That was real emotion that was being expressed. And what we did with it is we laughed at it. We were making mockery of a serious issue because we looked at him as a grown man, not realizing that although grown man, he still suffered as a young man. And we forget about that. Just like when you have ladies that when they were young, they either been raped, molested, whatever the case is. I just showed y'all a video of a pastor that violated his own daughter, fam, got his daughter pregnant. And fam, I got another story for you guys. After this one, I'm going live again to talk about another story of some evil that's going on in the black community. You understand? And when you get this one, guys, it's going to make your blood boil. It's going to make your blood boil. You're going to be angry because these things is happening every day in the black community and nobody want to talk about it. Just like nobody don't want to talk about young men being molested. It's a serious issue. This stuff happens, guys. Let's get back to the content. So it says, Bambaataa is not a pedophile, and in my eyes, he was doing something that was consensual with someone that he thought was of age. He told All Hip Hop, I wish back in 2016, I remember about the fake ID. End the quote. It goes on and says, at the time, the allegations prompt more alleged victims to come forward, with Rolling Stone reporting that 12 men in total, not including Savage, have accused Bambaataa of sexual impropriety. So not just Ronald Savage, but also 12 other men came forward regarding this situation, including Hassan Campbell. I'm surprised that he was never listed in anything. Maybe he might be in this article. I don't know. But I know he was very loud and instrumental on YouTube. So it goes on and it says a man claiming to be a former bodyguard of Bambaataa, Sham Sadine Sharif Ali Bey, said, I've walked in on stuff where I say, what the F is going on? He travels with late teens. Those are the ones he takes overseas with him. When I went with him on tour in the States, I would stay in one room and he would have boys in the room with him. Come on, guys. It don't get no more worse than that. These are witnesses saying what they seen. Why would boys be in your room, dog? Shouldn't women be in there? Shouldn't you have some fine sisters in there? You got boys in there? This is crazy, bro. So he would have boys in the room with him. The musician denied all allegations in a 2016 interview with Fox 5 News, but left his position as the head of his Universal Zulu Nation organization. Quote, I never abused nobody. You know, it just sounds crazy for people to say that, to hear. You abuse me. It goes on and says, you know, all my people back then, you know, the hundreds of people that been around me. If something like that happened, why you never went to none of them? And you know, so crazy, guys, I believe I actually have that quote on a video. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see if we got it. While I'm reading it, I remembered it was an interview that I believe it's an old interview from about 9 years ago. Let me see if I can pull this up. I think it was an Africa Bambaataa interview from 9 years ago. I think this is it. Yeah, this should be it. Let's get this let's get this content, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, fam. Best reactionary videos on YouTube, Ringo TV Reactions. Let's get those likes up. Right? Let me do this. Let's go, fam. Let me get the volume right and get to this content. Okay. So let's get this on the screen here. Find out what this tape got. Let's go.
Hurting, and it was definitely crazy to hear this now when I was doing so much other work in the community at the time.
A Fox 5 exclusive, one of hip-hop's founding fathers speaking out for the first time on television about shocking child abuse allegations. And the list of accusers is growing, and they all tell similar stories.
Africa Bambaataa being accused of sexually abusing several underage boys decades ago. Lisa Evers sat down with him for an exclusive TV interview to answer the allegations. She joins us now. Lisa.
Well, Stephen Derry, Africa Bambaataa brought peace to violent city streets, but now he is accused of a crime that is tough to forgive, molesting boys. He sat down with me for this exclusive interview, and no questions were off limits.
Have you ever abused any underage boy?
I never abused nobody. You know, it just sounds crazy to people to say that here you abused me. You know, my thing is, you know all my people back then. You know the hundreds of people that been around me. You know, if something like that happened, why you never want to? None of them.
Now, you remember we just read that clip. We just read that quote. That's why I went and pulled the interview, because I got a lot of material, and it's like I studied the information. So as soon as while I was reading, I'm like, wait a minute, them words sound familiar. This doesn't make any sense. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. Boom. All right. I was never. Okay. Wait. Back then. All right. Let me get this on the screen. So we have this for the court of public opinion. Let me make sure we get this. Because while I was reading it, I'm like, wait a minute, I heard that quote somewhere before. And I'm like, you know what? I downloaded a video with that. That was Bambaataa's words. Let's put that tape on the screen, right? So now, these are those words right here. That's where we got that from, right? So now let me rewind this back a little bit so we can hear what he said.
Sounds crazy to people to say that here you abused me. You know, my thing is, you know all my people back then. You know the hundreds of people that been around me. You know, if something like that happened, why you never want to? None of them.
You see that? So, in other words, he's saying, man, I ain't do nothing, man. Why didn't you go to none of them? Because they were scared. Because you had so much power, they couldn't go to them. There's such thing as men having so much power, you can't go to nobody. You just got to suffer in silence. And that's what happened.
Party people.
I don't want no copyright with none of that mess. So we're just going to keep it like that. Let me see. Let me fast forward a little bit because I don't want none of this mess in my video.
Zulu Nation. He's been a visiting professor at Cornell and invited to speak around the world. He told me the accusations came as a shock.
What is the motivation?
Yeah, what is the motivation? What is the agenda?
Do you think there is an agenda there?
It's hard to say. You know, you don't know what many of these people are thinking, what is behind it. Some parts I seen like it could be shake-ups, you know, certain things people might have wanted.
Any man that would sit in a room, guys, with shades like that is guilty. I don't care what nobody say. Any man that does that, you're guilty. If you got to sit down in a room like that, you're guilty. You know, it's crazy. Let me see. Someone said, so you saying a 12-year-old would like to be violated by a grown man? Now think about what you're saying. Who are you talking to? Because you're not talking to me. Who are you talking to, sir? Because if you're talking to me, I'm blocking you. Because at no point did I say that. We don't got no time for none of these games. All right? So you need to clear that up. Let's get back to the content.
Some parts I seen like it could be shake-ups, you know, certain things people might have wanted.
Bambaataa's chief accuser, Ronald Savage, is now 50 years old. He claims in 1980, when he was 15 and under the age of consent, playing hooky led to his first sexual experience with the hip-hop pioneer.
Do you see that? So when he was 15, So now we're getting more context to the article that we're reading now, and we can see some photos. And he's saying that was his first encounter with Bambaataa.
And was followed by at least 4 other abuse incidents.
I didn't have nowhere to go. So I had his number, and I called him, and he paid for the cab for me to go to his house.
Okay, so Dolomite said, whatchamacallit, is not talking to me. I don't know what comment you're talking about because I'm doing a live show. I don't have time to read all those comments. That's for y'all to pretty much argue and do what y'all need to do. I'm just saying when you're responding to people, make sure you have their name because it'll come across like you're talking to me. Because if I kind of glimpse the chat, it sounds like people talking about me. That's why if you're addressing me, you say my name. That way I can know what's going on. If you're talking to somebody else, put their name at them. Do something like that where we all know and the reader can know exactly so there's no confusion.
Savage claims through therapy he came to understand he was abused and became aware of other alleged victims.
I couldn't believe it. I was confused. I was a little nervous, and I was just wondering, like, the other guy coming into the room and, like, what was they going to do to me?
I asked.
You see that? So he was fearful for his life. Are y'all seeing that? He was fearful for his life. And Bambaataa was protected by a lot of lawyers. A lot of attorneys was around this man. If anything, he was the Diddy back then. Think about that, guys. He was the Diddy back then. He was having his own personal freak-offs, but with boys.
Bambaataa what he would say to Savage.
The brother knows the people who he came around in my group with and know that he wasn't in my presence less among those people, and he needs to go back and speak to those people who was part of our organization and deal with them and stop all this type of craziness that they've been trying to put by attacking me.
And you never touched him inappropriately?
I ain't touched this brother whatsoever.
The allegations have set off a social media firestorm and ignited feverish debate. Since the alleged incidents happened so long ago, no criminal charges can be brought. And there have been no settlements or payouts, says Bambaataa.
I mean, his attorney just looked like he's guilty too.
Attorney Charles Tucker Jr.
Have there been any criminal charges filed against Africa Bambaataa at all?
Absolutely not. Not today, not yesterday, not the day before yesterday, not ever.
The question now is what happens next? Can we ever find out the truth of what really occurred? And are there other victims out there who have yet to come forward? Or is this a case that will only be tried in the court of public opinion? Here's what both sides have to say. In our exclusive interview, Africa Bambaataa emphatically maintained he is not a sexual abuser. Do you feel now you are among that group of people falsely accused?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, there's always been things in our community where you falsely accuse people, or people have sit in the prisons, political prisoners and groups like that, that they wait to 10, 15, 20, even 30 or 40 years before they find out that this person was railroaded.
But Ronald Savage believes there are more victims out there and that the statute of limitations should be eliminated.
No one can tell anyone when they're ready to let stuff out. And especially if you haven't went through what I went through and other people went through. It's like, how dare you?
Definitely hurting it.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen, it's very clear. And you can even see from Ronald Savage that you can clearly see that the person is nervous while talking, almost like they're afraid, like, damn, I don't know if my life is in danger. I don't know what's next. Is anybody going to come for me, my family? I don't know, because you have to understand, you're dealing with the Zulu Nation, Africa Bambaataa. There's a lot of people behind him that would probably kill for this man. You know what I mean? And for him to have not shown up to court, that you're guilty, bro. You're guilty. There's no way around it. So let's get back to the article. I just wanted to bring that out as evidence for the case that what we were reading earlier, I wanted to add life to it by showing you that video clip. So moving on, it says, alongside DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa was one of the originators of hip-hop and began throwing block parties in the South Bronx in the 1970s. Let's see. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. That's some number stuff. Okay, what is all of this? That's something else. Yeah, I ain't reading all of that mess. That has nothing to do with it. Okay. So that's pretty much that article right there. I'm not going to read all this other stuff that has nothing to do with the case. They just pretty much was giving you a hotline to call if you're abused and all of that other stuff. But nonetheless, this situation right here. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Wait, did I read this? I don't even think I read this. Wait a minute. I didn't read this. Where the hell did this come from? This is crazy. It's like, I don't know. I don't even think I read this stuff here. Okay, let me see if I read this. Okay, I read that. Okay. The musician denied. Wait, let me see. The musician denied all allegations in 2016 interview. Okay, I read that part, but left his position as the head of the Zulu Nation organization. Okay. I never abused nobody. Okay, I read all of that. Yeah, I read all of that information there. Okay. All right, so I read everything already. Yeah. So, what does all of this mean for Hassan Campbell? He been vindicated. Africa Bambaataa loses civil case, suing him for child sexual abuse. I was about to say child support. And this is due to someone who was 12 years old who claimed they were abused and trafficked by Bambaataa. The DJ failed to show up in court, and the John Doe won by default. Interesting. So the moral of the story is Hassan Campbell was telling the truth the whole time. And all of the stories that he shared with the people, it's true. The things that he was telling you that was happening at Bronx River, I mean, you can't deny it. You can't say, oh, he just made it up for views and clicks. I don't think so. Now, at this point, you gotta just accept the stories and just realize that some things might sound too good to be true, but when a man don't show up to court and he loses by default, that man is guilty. And that means that Bambaataa lied when he said he didn't do nothing to nobody. He lied. He know good and well he was messing with these young boys, turning these boys out, ruining their lives, traumatizing people, putting them in fear. Probably was putting hits on people. Probably some people died that we don't even know about. There could have been victims that may have died and were unalive due to them trying to get help. You know? It's crazy. Somebody said, won what? And where's the warrant for his arrest? That's some research you need to go do, sir. I'm just focusing on what the story is about. Basically said that the hip-hop pioneer Africa Bambaataa loses civil case suing him for child sexual abuse. So whatever that case is about, do your research. Find out what is what. I'm just focusing on the story. That's about it. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Will more victims come forward? Is this the end? What is the hip hop industry talking about right now? Are they going to hold Africa Bambaataa accountable? Are they going to interview victims? Are they going to interview Hassan Campbell again? Like what happens now? Like what happens now that everything is out? What's next? Do we continue to make fun of black men that have been violated? Do we do that? Do we continue to talk negative about young men that have been molested like it's a joke? Do we continue to do skits making a mockery of real victims? It's one thing if you're filming a movie and you're doing something creative or whatever the case is, but there's a thin line, you know? Because when victims come forward to talk about what they've been through and we don't listen to them, we make a joke out of it, we're a part of the problem now. So when Hassan Campbell went down the Bronx River and crashed out and got shot, for whatever reason, we had fun talking about the stories. We had fun seeing them crash out and bottles flying and all that other stuff. But what led him down there was the trauma. What led him down there was the pain and everything else. Because I even talked about that in my videos. I was like, why would this man leave his nice neighborhood, good house, nice garden to go back to the projects? Now, I can understand if you want to go to New York, you know what I'm saying, and get some food, hang out, see family that might still live in the hood. But just to go there to crash out, you must got a lot on your mind. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that, bro. I'm not leaving North Carolina to go back to the hood talking about, well, I'm just going to crash out. I'm not doing all of that, bro. So what could let a man to go do all of that? He's dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of unanswered questions, pain. And no matter how much success a man have, that don't mean nothing. A lot of times you guys see the success and you don't understand how the pain really affects a man inside. You know, no nice cars, nice house, all that stuff might be nice to you when you see it. But when somebody's going through a lot of internal pain, they don't see all of that material stuff the way you do. They're just looking for peace, you know? Because in their mind, they're still remembering the past. They're still remembering the nightmare. And especially when everybody online is making fun of you and laughing and joking, it's like, damn, dog. Here I am pouring my heart out, sharing this truth, sharing my truth, and people taking it for a joke. You know what I'm saying? It don't even make no sense. But as of now, Hassan Campbell have been vindicated. If Hassan Campbell is listening, I made videos about you, sir. I mocked you. I had fun. It was entertaining. But you've been vindicated. You've been telling the truth the whole time about Africa Bambaataa. Hopefully this particular story and this news brung a sense of closure. I don't know what this means. I don't know what happens next with Bambaataa. I don't know what happens next. I don't know what that case means for him. Does it mean it's a civil case? So I don't know exactly what was the goal besides that. But by the pure fact that he lost, that actually is a bomb that dropped on hip hop. And I'm surprised that people are literally ignoring this one. They acting like they don't know. You know? They're acting like they don't even see what's happening here. Like, this is supposed to be big news right now on every platform, like major news. And a lot of people supposed to be coming clean and saying, you know what? I roast Hassan. I laughed. I giggled. It was entertaining. But at the end of the day, hey, the man was right the whole time. He was right. He was right the whole time. African Bambaataa was doing this deed, bro. And a lot of content creators supposed to acknowledge that, right? Don't be in your pride, man. Don't act like you don't see this video. A lot of y'all in the clouds right now, viewing right now. See, I'm man enough to come online and share my thoughts. I don't hide in the shadows acting like I don't see. No, I see. And people still making videos. I saw one particular video where some dude was going off. He ain't even get no views. He was going off trying to roast Hassan. I think the dude got like 35 views. He got 35 views. He was trying to roast Hassan. He was like, man, you ain't do this, man. You think it was because of you that he lost his case. It wasn't because of you. I'm like, damn, man, you. It was because of him. Even though you don't see his name on none of those articles, you can't deny that the man wasn't in these streets talking about Bambaataa before all these people. At least for me, that's what I saw. He kept talking about Bambaataa to the point where I'm like, listen, man, what is the obsession with this Bambaataa, bro? It's some weirdo stuff. But now I realize it's not that it was some weirdo stuff. That was his story. That was his truth. That was his mission. And it's mission accomplished right now. Mission accomplished. So to all the victims out there that suffered under the hands of Afrika Bambaataa, maybe this will bring closure. Maybe you'll come forward now. But we need more young black men. If you've been touched, violated in any way, you need to come forward. Because unfortunately, in the black community, we don't give men an opportunity to open up about these issues. We really don't. It's scary for some guys to even talk about this. Imagine you a grown man and you're telling the world, yo, I was abused and I was sexually this. And what man does that? Dudes will just keep that to themselves, man. Be like, listen, man, I ain't telling nobody nothing, bro. Not even my peoples, my family, nobody. I don't want nobody to look at me weird, man. We need to have that conversation, guys. It's crazy. You said Bambaataa was like a father figure to Hassan and many others. Well, that's normally how it be with a lot of people that end up in situations like that. The person is normally like a mentor or some sort of a coach or something along them lines. You know? Let me see. Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay. So we're going to get up on out of here, guys. We're going to do what we need to do. And that's about it. So rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this particular story. Do you believe it now? Did you doubt Hassan Campbell when he was talking about these issues? Or were you on the fence like, okay, I kind of believe you. I kind of think you're exaggerating. Like, what exactly is it? You know? Matter of fact, let me do a poll real quick. Start a poll. Let me see. All right. Let's see. Okay, let me do this real fast because I want to find out what the people think. Okay, vote below. So now with this one. Okay. I'm writing 3 of them to see what people have to say. Okay. Okay. I believed Hassan from the start. I believed half of what he said. I never believed Hassan. Okay. Let's see what the people say. Go ahead and vote so that we can see exactly where your thoughts are and kind of tally up these votes and find out what's going on. All right. So what say the people? Let's see where the people at. Cast your votes, ladies and gentlemen. We got 300 people in the building, only 16 votes. Come on now. People are weird. There should be 300 votes. This is so easy and simple. 300 people, only 17 votes. Make that make sense, guys. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. We know all of y'all been judging and having opinions, but when it's time for y'all to respond to a poll, you can't? Come on, man. Participate, damn it. This doesn't make no damn sense. You're here watching the show. You watched all this time. I made a poll. Respond to it. I'm telling you, man, some people lazy as hell, bro. I'm just going to end the damn show, man, because y'all playing games, bro. Y'all playing some serious games, bro. I mean, we supposed to be adults having a serious conversation. It's a simple poll to respond to. People playing damn games. I'm telling you, man. But if I say, yo, I got the Henny, we going to the club, everybody ready to go. Everybody want to pass their cup around to get a drink. This is sick, man. Let me get the hell out of here, man. I'm just ending the damn poll, man. Y'all pissing me the fuck off, bro. Like, real talk, man. I'm out of here, man. Rate, comment, and subscribe, bro. I'm done, bro. I'm serious, man. Pissing me the fuck off, bro. I'm out. Rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.